All right, let's take a look at another polynomial inequality, and let's first realize that we're working here with what's called actually a quadratic inequality because the power here is 2, and therefore this is quadratic. It's an inequality because we have this less than 0 sign. So the first step is to always isolate and move everything to one side. That's already been done, okay? Everything's on one side, we have 0 on the other side. Step 2 is to replace the inequality sign with an equal sign. So we have x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. And now we need to try and solve this. We can either factor it, use the quadratic formula, whatever technique that you want to use. Here it factors. It's going to be x plus 6, x minus 1 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0, you get two solutions, negative 6 and positive 1. So now what we do is on a number line, this is step 3, we need to determine test points. So we put negative 6 here, we put positive 1 here. I like to put dotted little lines to create 3 different regions. And now what we do is we pick something over here like negative 7. Anything between here and here, I'm going to pick 0. That's always a real good number between a negative and a positive number. And then anything I want over here like 3. Now what I do is I take these points, I plug them into the original inequality, and I check to see if it's true or false. So I'm on step 4. So step 4, I'm going to plug first negative 7 into the original problem. So I'll just leave that up here. It's going to be negative 7 squared plus 5 times negative 7 minus 6 less than 0. So this is 49. Here we get minus 35 minus 6 less than 0. Okay, now let's put these together. 49 minus 35 is going to give you a 14. And then minus 6 less than 0. So 14 minus 6 here is going to give us 8. Now, is 8 less than 0? Well, no, it's not. Therefore, I can say that this region will not work, and I can move on to my next test point. So my next test point is 0. I'm going to plug 0 in. 0 squared here plus 5 times 0 minus 6 is less than 0. Now this goes to 0, this goes to 0. You're just left with negative 6 is less than 0. And that's true, right? A negative number is less than 0. So anything here is going to work. Now what I'll do is I'll move on to my last test point, which is 3, and I'll just do it right here. 3 squared plus 5 times 3 minus 6 is less than 0. All right, 3 squared is 9, plus 5 times 3 is 15, then minus 6 less than 0. 9 plus 15 is 24. Minus 6 is going to give us 18 less than 0. Now 18 is not less than 0. So this is not going to work. And at this point you might be saying to yourself, oh, okay, hey look, as soon as I pick one test point, if it's not going to work, the next one will, and then the next one won't. It's just going to alternate. But that's not always the case. So the best way to do things is just test each point and see if it works. Now what we're ready to do is write our answer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at our region that works, and that's between here and here, negative 6 and 1. The question is, do we include negative 6 and do we include 1? Now remember, the original inequality had a less than symbol. It did not have the equal underneath it. Therefore, we don't want it to ever equal 0, just be less than 0. Well, it's less than 0 between here and here. At the points negative 6 and 1, it is 0. So we're going to leave these as open circles saying we do not want to include those points. So our final answer is everything between negative 6 and 1. We put parentheses on each end to say that we do not want to include those endpoints.